Marcus had given up on dating apps 3 months ago. The endless swiping and shallow conversations had worn him down. But when his sister Claire insisted on setting him up with someone from her book club, he reluctantly agreed. Now at 54, he sat in a dimly lit bistro, nervously adjusting his watch. The woman who walked through the door took his breath away. She had soft waves of honey blonde hair and a quiet elegance that seemed to light up the room. Her name was Emma, and she smiled at him with a warmth that felt oddly familiar. They shook hands and ordered coffee. The conversation flowed easily. She asked about his work as an architect, and he found himself talking about projects he hadn't mentioned to anyone in years. She laughed at his stories, and her eyes sparkled with genuine interest. There was something about her presence that put him at ease. Something he couldn't quite place. An hour passed like minutes. Then she paused mid-sentence and tilted her head slightly. Her smile softened into something more tender. "You don't remember me, do you?" Marcus felt his chest tighten. He studied her face, searching for clues in the curve of her smile and the depth of her eyes. "I'm sorry, I don't think so," he admitted, feeling embarrassed. Emma took a slow sip of her coffee. "It's okay," she said gently. "It was a long time ago, and I looked very different back then." She reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. After scrolling for a moment, she turned the screen toward him. It was an old photograph from what looked like a high school yearbook. A girl with thick glasses braces and short mousy brown hair stared back at him. Beneath the photo was a name. Emma Hartley. Marcus's mind raced. He remembered that name. Emma Hartley. The quiet girl who sat in the back of his senior English class. The one who always had her nose in a book. He had barely noticed her back then. "Emma," he whispered, feeling the weight of decades between them. She nodded. "You probably don't remember this either, but you did something for me once." Marcus leaned forward. "What did I do?" Emma set down her cup, and her voice grew softer. "It was the spring of our senior year. I was eating lunch alone like I always did. A group of guys started making fun of me, calling me names, throwing things at my table. I just sat there wishing I could disappear." She paused and looked directly into his eyes. "You walked over. You didn't know me. We'd never spoken. But you sat down right next to me. You asked if I wanted to share your fries. Those guys stopped immediately and walked away. You stayed with me for the rest of lunch. We talked about books and music. You treated me like I mattered." Marcus felt a lump form in his throat. He barely remembered that day. It had seemed like such a small thing. "After that day," Emma continued, "I stopped feeling invisible. I realized that kindness existed, that I deserved to be treated with respect. It changed something in me, Marcus. I started believing in myself. I went to college. I traveled. I built a life I'm proud of. And it started with you sitting down at that table." Tears welled in Marcus's eyes. "Emma, I had no idea. I barely remember doing that. It just seemed like the right thing to do. That's what made it so powerful," she said. "You didn't do it for recognition. You did it because you saw someone who needed a friend, even if just for 20 minutes. They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of the years between them dissolving. "I've thought about you over the years," Emma admitted. "I always wondered what happened to you. When Claire mentioned she was setting me up with her brother Marcus, I couldn't believe it. I looked you up online, and when I saw your picture, I knew it was you." Marcus shook his head in amazement. "And you still agreed to meet me?" Emma smiled. "Of course. I wanted to thank you. And honestly, I wanted to see if that kind boy grew into a kind man." Marcus reached across the table and gently took her hand. "I don't know if I'm the same person I was back then. Life has a way of hardening you. But sitting here with you, I remember who I wanted to be." Emma squeezed his hand. "Maybe we both get a second chance to be those people again." They talked for another 2 hours. The bistro staff dimmed the lights and began stacking chairs, but neither of them noticed. They spoke about lost dreams and found purposes, about marriages that ended and lessons learned, about children grown and futures uncertain. When they finally stepped out into the cool night air, Marcus felt lighter than he had in years. "Can I see you again?" he asked. Emma's smile was radiant. "I'd like that very much." As Marcus drove home that night, he thought about the strange current of life, How one small act of kindness could ripple forward through decades. How we never know which moments will define us. He thought about the boy he used to be, the one who sat down at a lonely table without thinking twice. And he made a quiet promise to himself to be that person again, not just for Emma, but for everyone who crosses path. Because kindness isn't something you do once. It's something you choose every single day. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories about second chances and the power of kindness. Leave a comment below and tell us about a small act of kindness that changed your life. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. Sonnet 4.5.